you, then if I ask you to relate force and momentum, then how will you relate them? How will you relate force and momentum? Can you relate between force and momentum? Yes, tell me. Whenever force is taken into account, whenever we say that unbalanced force exists, that means acceleration will be the result of that existence of force. And what the force does in the process of its existence, it brings change in momentum. If you do remember, then in Newton's second law we said force is the rate of change of linear momentum. Force is the rate of change of linear momentum, isn't it? This was the statement that we make to understand Newton's second law. In Newton's second law we use this statement where we say that force is the rate of change of linear momentum. So that means F is equal to, mathematically, I mean, like in lower classes you have studied it like this: change in momentum divided by time taken. In your lower classes, in your school level, you have studied it in this way, that force is the change of momentum by time taken. And now we will discuss it in this form. It is d dt of mv, because we do not know the minimum time interval that can be taken to discuss the change of momentum, such that the process of change of momentum can be discussed. What is the minimum time span in which we can discuss about the change of momentum to define the term force? That is not defined. Should it be 1 minute or half minute or 1/4 minute? What should be the minimum time that is permissible in the denominator, so that during that interval only we can discuss about the change of momentum? So it is not defined, so that time can be as small as possible. Okay, so that's why taking it very small, so dt, so change of momentum in dt time can be said to be the force. But whenever in Newton's second law or the process of force is concerned, earlier we used to study it, the change of momentum is only because of the change of velocity, mass remains constant, and from there we used to say that m into v minus u by t. But right now we will be discussing about the change of momentum in two possible way. One can be, if m is constant, the change of momentum will be due to the change of velocity, or in other words, it is v constant due to the change of mass also, change of momentum can be discussed. This is the part where we call it m into a, since dv by dt is known as the acceleration a. This process is called conserved mass system. This process is called conserved mass system. Okay, and whenever we say this is the way to express force, I mean, like we using v into dm by dt, if we discuss force, then this is dm dt, this is for variable mass system, for variable mass system, where velocity is maintained constant. By changing the mass per unit time, we can bring the change in momentum of a body, so that change of momentum can be discussed. So that is another way. In fact, variable mass system, like in the rocket theory, in rocket motion of rocket, in projection of any body against the gravity in the space, when we project anything from our earth surface in space, we use this theory, v into dm dt, right? So that means I asked about the relation between force and momentum. So force and momentum relation is the rate of change of momentum is only said to be force, right? So whenever, that means whenever we will be discussing about the presence of force on a mass, so this presence of force on a mass, we write down F equals to m into a, where a is equal to dv dt, rate of change of velocity, right? So this happens when force is unbalanced on one individual body. When we are talking about only one individual body, then force applied on that body must be equal to bringing it result as acceleration, and that acceleration will be because of change of velocity, right? So this acceleration, that means acceleration must always be produced in the direction of force. So we can write down direction of acceleration, or in other word change of velocity must be along the direction of force applied. Okay. Whenever there is a single force acting on a mass, that must definitely bring acceleration. The bringing acceleration means creating change in momentum. So either it is you talk about the development of acceleration or you talk about the change of velocity that has taken place, that should definitely be always taken along the direction which is the direction of force. This for when one individual force acts. Suppose on a single mass, when there are more than one forces acting like this, when there are more than one forces acting like this and the body is still moving rightward, for example, moving rightward with constant velocity, what does it mean? What you will understand in this diagram, if it is saying that a body is experiencing two different forces acting on it in exactly opposite in direction, still we can see the body is moving in one particular direction with constant velocity. What does it mean? Yes, tell me, what will be the outcome, what will be the conceptual meaning that you can understand or you can think about the motion of the particle. If the motion of the particle is taking place with constant velocity in presence of two forces acting on it, what does it mean? Yes, who can give me the answer? Tell me, what will be the result of these two forces when a body, in spite of having forces on it, moving with constant velocity? That means whenever a body is moving with constant velocity, means its momentum remains constant. Yes or no? When a body is moving with constant velocity, means its momentum remains constant, and we know that when change of momentum takes place, then only the state of existence of force can be justified. And if it is observed that during the motion a particle is maintaining its velocity constant, if a particle is maintaining its momentum constant, this implies that no change of momentum means no net force on it. So when we are saying that no net force acting on it, so this implies that F1 must be equal to F2. These two forces, though being shown they are as different forces, but practically they must be balancing each other. magnitude wise they must balance each other, they must cancel each other. Are you getting me? Magnitudically they must be equal, acting opposite in direction, then only it is possible that net force is 0. Net force is 0. No net force means net force value is 0. So as the net force value is 0, and that means it is suggesting that it is moving with a constant velocity, which means no change of momentum is taking place. So whenever more than one forces will be available or will be acting on any particular body, so that may be producing equilibrium. That means that may be the situation where forces are getting cancelled out, they are balancing each other, provided if it is moving with a constant velocity. But presence of two force means not always necessarily that they are cancelling each other. If in this case, when I can see the two forces acting on him in opposite direction, and still we find that the body is moving rightward with some acceleration, then the fact of net force or the resultant force will definitely available on the mass. Are you getting it or not? Are you understanding the role of force on a body when it is moving with constant velocity, or what will happen when it will be moving with change of velocity? So like in this situation only, when there are two forces, one is F1 rightward, another one is F2 on the same mass leftward, if still body is moving with for example with acceleration, how will you understand that either it is moving with acceleration or with constant velocity? So that means moving with acceleration means change of velocity is taking place, change of velocity is taking place. So whenever change of velocity will take place during the motion of a body, that means it is having acceleration, because change of velocity v minus u by t, that only the term called acceleration. So then this implies that net force is available. This implies that net force is available, that is F net can be either F1 minus F2 or F2 minus F1, depending on that in which direction this mass is moving. If the mass is moving rightward, then it is F1 minus F2 is possible, and if the mass is moving with acceleration leftward, right, in the leftward, then F2 will be the greater force value on M than F1. So this is the effect of one or multiple forces when it acts on one single body during its motion. What is the role of force when two separable bodies, two different bodies are moving alone, right, and during the motion they suddenly collide with each other, and after some certain time, after a very small time, they get separated and again keeps on moving individually. So that means now I will talk about the situations relating to collision. Collision is what? Collision will be that concept where we will see that two or more bodies moving on one line or moving on a plane or maybe moving in space. I mean, like as per the three-dimensional arrangement is concerned, if two or more bodies moving in such a way so that one is approaching towards other in course of their respective motion, and suddenly they collide with each other, that means their locus intersect each other, and as a result of collision we can see that after collision the particles may continue the same direction of motion or may change the direction of motion, and that period of collision is considered to be very small span of time. Then what happens? In case of collision, so long as the particle moving separately, though they are coming closer to each other and comes in contact for a small time, so the time during which they strike each other, that is the colliding periods, is concerned. So we can say during that time one can exert force on the other, but that force exerted by one on the other and vice versa will always be balancing forces, and that is the reason why as a part of system made by the two bodies, we can say on behalf of the system the linear momentum value will remain unchanged. Are you getting my point? I can write down it in this way: when two individual bodies collides with each other, then during the small time period of collision, they exert force on each other, but on behalf of the system net force is zero. Means the forces exerted by each other, are equal and opposite. Do you understand the meaning of this statement? Go through it carefully. What I have written, I have written that when two individual bodies collide with each other, then during the small time period of collision they exert force on each other, but on behalf of the system net force is zero. Means the forces exerted by the two colliding bodies will be equal and opposite. So this implies that two body system does not undergo any change in linear momentum. Two body system does not undergo any change in linear momentum, which means linear momentum value which means linear momentum value remains constant. Okay, on behalf of the system we can say linear momentum value of the system, that is the two body part system, will remain constant. With respect to the individual bodies, they may undergo the change in linear momentum value, but on behalf of the system of two bodies, so the net two body taken together forming one system does not undergo any change of momentum. What does it mean? I mean to say that if I want to draw the status of two particles before and after collision, if I want to draw the status of two particles both before and after collision, then see how I can represent them. For example, these are the two bodies, right? Let both of them are moving in one direction. Both of them are moving in same line, that is in one direction. Let this is be the first particle m1, this is the second particle m2. Initial velocity is u1 and that of second is u2. Centers of the respective colliding bodies are identified such as C1, C2. Are you getting me? Are you all understanding the situation? There are two bodies, there are two particles. One is assumed to be of mass m1, another one is assumed to be of mass m2. They are moving with their respective velocities such as u1 and u2. The direction of motion of both the particles same in direction, and that we can understand with their same direction velocities. This is the state before collision. This is the state before collision, right? During collision I can see them, that suppose they are in contact with each other like this. These are the two points known as centers of the bodies on their line joining. As I am saying that during collision, during the time period of collision, the particles will be observed to be exerting force on each other. So yes, if I suppose identify the particles as A and B, so this will be the force on B due to A, and this will be the force on A. So this is the situation before collision, this is during collision, and this is after collision. So far as before and after collision is concerned, if I take these two situations, that is this situation and this situation, so bodies are neither in contact nor any third party is involved here in exerting force on either on m1 or on m2, right? So that's why so called the external force is concerned, that is not available neither on A nor on B, that is not on behalf of the system before collision and after collision. So the existence of force exerted by one on the other, that is only appearing as the forces exerted by one on the other just during that small time span. If it is assumed to be delta t, for example, if delta t is that small time span during which we can see the particles are in contact, during that time only we can see the forces exerted by one another. So these two force FAB and FBA must be same. FAB and FBA must be same, because suddenly at just for the time span during which collision take place, right, there cannot be any net force on the system when the system was absolutely isolated from any external unbalanced force. Are you getting me? As the system of A plus B was absolutely isolated from any external unbalanced force, so that's why how can it be possible that suddenly as soon as they are coming in contact, some unbalancing force is getting introduced on the system of A plus B. So that's why, but it is the fact that during collision we can talk about the force exerted by one another, but that two forces must be equal and opposite. So based on this concept, that was there was no force before collision as well as after collision, and during collision though forces are available, but on behalf of the system of A plus B, these two forces are equal and opposite. What does it mean? That means absolutely net force on the system is 0. Absolutely net force on the system. So therefore we can write down net force on the system of A plus B, on the system of A plus B is 0. So since the net force is 0, and we know that the relation between force and momentum, whenever on a system there will be unbalancing force existing, there can only be the discussion of change of momentum will be possible, right? So as because net force on A plus B is 0, this implies that the system of A plus B, the system of A plus B must have its linear momentum, A plus B must have its linear momentum is constant. Therefore, linear momentum before collision, must be equal to linear momentum after collision. Okay, since the measurement of linear momentum is the product of mass into velocity, so on two different bodies the linear momentum will be before collision, means it will be m1 u1 as the linear momentum of the first body A plus linear momentum that of the second body B will be m2 u2. Both will be written positive. Why? Because the direction wise, whatever the velocity of m1 is chosen, in that same direction we have considered the velocity of m2, so that's why velocity of both of them are same, so that's why both of them should be written positive. And the linear momentum of the same two particle after completing the collision, it will be m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Do you understand it? Do you understand this linear momentum equation writing? Net linear momentum on the system of A plus B before collision will be m1 u1 plus m2 u2, whereas the linear momentum on the same system of A plus B after completing the collision will be m1 v1 plus m2 v2. That means if you check about the momentum change of m1 is concerned, yes, it is taking place. If you talk about the change of momentum of m2 is concerned, so yes, it is taking place. So that means both m1 and m2, are you getting it? Both m1 and m2 are undergoing the change of momentum, but overall A plus B is not undergoing any change of momentum. How? Because if I write down m1 v1, yes, m1 v1 minus m1 u1, then that is equal to m2 u2 minus m2 v2. What does it mean? Rearranging the momentum of m1 both before and after collision, that taken to LHS, and the linear momentum of mass m2 both before and after collision, that is taken in RHS. So LHS wise, this linear momentum of m1 will be said to be gain in momentum of m1 is basically loss in momentum of m2. Do you understand how we are commenting on about the change of momentum of the individual bodies, saying that momentum of m1 is going for gain in momentum, whereas the change of momentum on m2 is going under for loss in momentum. Why we are saying it like this?